So I was talking to someone today who said that they struggled with motivation, and they asked me, how do I stay motivated? How do I stay consistent in the times where you got nothing good going for you? You know what I'm saying? Like, you're not making any money, you're trying to figure stuff out, just the low times in life. And that actually made me think, like, where does motivation come from? Like, how do I stay motivated? What keeps me going? And I think it's very important to understand why and how and the concepts of things so you can start to tap into these types of things. So I realized that motivation is just the amount of separation between where you're at and where you're trying to be. And I seen a quote a couple years ago, or a video, like, when you're the most motivated to eat is when you've been starved for a while or you haven't had any food in a while. When you're the most motivated to basically go to sleep, it's when you haven't had sleep in a while. You've been deprived of sleep. Motivation just comes from how much pain that you're actually in. And a lot of people's lives are painful. They're not in a position they want to be, but they mask it and they don't actually feel the pain. It's important that you feel the pain. See, a lot of people have a fire under their ass, but they don't feel it. They try and numb the pain with going out, drinking, hanging out with friends, doing bullshit activities. Like, their life isn't where they want to be. They have that fire that is trying to get them to move. But unless you're able to feel that fire under your ass, unless you're able to actually feel that pain, you're not going to take action. See, a lot of people struggle with motivation or taking action. It's just motivation comes from pain. Like, you have to be in pain, enough pain to actually take action. Until your life is in a position where you realize you absolutely do not want to be there, you will stay stuck. And that was one of my biggest things I told him, is like, a lot of people as guys say that it's corny to tap into your emotions, but I think tapping into your emotions is the most powerful thing you can do as a guy, and it will motivate the fuck out of you. Because I remember when basically my mom would have to go to work back to back. She still does. She had leaks in her roof that she just couldn't afford to fix, so she tried to fix it with like a towel or something. She couldn't hire someone. She tried to fix it herself. Times when she had to go to work multiple times, or she didn't have enough money for these things, or times where I know she had to take out a loan or borrow some money from other people to get us presents. Like, that is stuff that I physically remember that is going to motivate the fuck out of me. In the gym, in my business, in life, is just knowing that those things happen and tapping into that emotion of anger. That makes me angry that I have to see my mom go work two jobs. It makes me angry that she sometimes couldn't afford certain things, but she still made it work. It makes me angry that I had to do all these things happened, and I can tap into my emotion and feel that pain of remembering that, and that is what motivates me. That is something that I will always remember, of just like, when I don't feel like doing something, I just have to remember that pain, because that is the ultimate motivator. If your life is all dandy and good, you're rich, you're successful, you have everything you want, if you are completely fulfilled, that is when you lose motivation. And it's so funny to me, because you would think like, oh, well, that's not true, because Elon Musk and Jeff Bezos and everything, they still work all day every day. They still have motivation to work. It's because they are still in pain and they're not in a position that they want to be. The reason they have more motivation and a bigger work ethic than you is because they have bigger goals and they're more of a pain deficit than you. You are right here, out of shape, trying to get in decently slight shape, or you're trying to make $5,000 a month. So your goal is from $0 to $5,000 a month, or $5,000 to $10,000 a month. Let's say $5,000 to $10,000 a month for simple math, right? If your goal is $5,000 to $10,000, Elon Musk's goal is, let's just, I know it's not this, but 250 billion to 1 trillion. So 5 million to 10,000, 5,000 to 10,000 is only a 2x multiple. Elon Musk is a 4x multiple. So even though he has way more money than you, he's technically in more pain, because his goal is 4 times harder. Yours is only 2 times harder. So however much The more pain you can actually be in, the more pain you can actually feel, will be the most motivation you can have. And that's something I think about is like, it's just a motivation is about from the position where you're in to where you're trying to be. How big of a deficit are you in? Because if you're in a slight deficit, if you're right here and your goal is just to get right here, you're not going to have that much motivation. But if you're right here and your goal is all the way the fuck up there, you have a fire under your ass and you're going to have so much motivation to actually act. The problem is so many people have such small goals that they procrastinate and they kind of push it off because they're not really trying to be the best. It's like you want to get in shape, but you're already in decent shape. You're not trying to get in the best shape. You're making enough money to pay the bills, pay the rent. You're not that uncomfortable with your life. Until you are extremely uncomfortable with your life and the position that you're in, you will struggle with motivation. You need to have so much pain, a fire under your ass that is literally going to push you. Like if you had a fire actually on your ass, you would have a motivation to get off the fire. The problem is it's like the same thing. Your life is the fire and you are still the person, but you're masking the pain. You're putting water on the fire by smoking, drinking, doing bullshit activities, and just numbing the pain. Until you're able to feel that fire and feel that pain, you're going to struggle with motivation. So if you want motivation, tap into your emotions of times you've been done wrong, maybe by your girlfriend, your boyfriend, times where you saw your mother working 2 jobs, times where you got rejected by this girl, times where you got fired from your job. Tap into your emotions to feel that pain. There's only 2 ways to motivate yourself. You either really want a goal that you just don't have, a life that you don't have, or you really are running away from something that you don't want to live. And that is the pain that you're running from. For me was when I got out of college, my biggest fear was just working a regular job and, working for a regular salary wage. Like I genuinely could not see myself working a regular job. Like that is actually fearful to me. Like something I really do not want to do. That is pain. I felt that pain and it made me work my ass off. Until you realize you're not in the position that you want to be, until you realize. And it's not, and I don't want you guys to get this twisted and be like, oh, my life sucks, blah, 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 because that's not going to do anything good for you. Just realize, like, hey, I'm not in the position I want to be. I'm overweight. I'm skinny, maybe. I don't have any money. I'm broke. I get no girls. I'm ugly, whatever it is. Don't be like, oh, and feel bad for yourself. Realize, use that as a motivation to just get better. Use that as, okay, watch this. Like, I'm about to turn this whole shit around. But until you're actually able to feel the pain of what you're actually in and not try to numb it with other shit, you're not going to have motivation. So if you want true motivation, feel the pain of the position that you're in.